Okay, so welcome everybody to this month's Fearless Fridays interview. I'm here with Jo, and let's dive straight in, Jo. And if you can tell us briefly what you were doing before and what you're doing today.
Okay, so I'm Jo Symo, and 7 years ago I left an abusive relationship, one which had been very hard, but while I was in that relationship, I built up a really strong career, which when I left, I really enjoyed for a few more years. I was and still am a leadership expert in the corporate world. I work with managers and leaders of all levels, right up to board and executive level, and help them improve their practices and how they lead their people to better success. But I was starting to get a little bit tired of that, and I was having adventures and going off traveling as much as I could. And then the travel bug really hit. So I quit my corporate job and I literally ran away and joined the circus in Australia. Which was amazing. There I'm a spruiker, so I'm the person at the front of the tent in a top hat, and it's my job to get an audience with roll up, come and see the show. We do 15-minute shows every half an hour, so it's quite a lot of work, really fast paced, but really great fun. And I'll be honest, by the end of the night, I'm really just abusing drunk people to get their money out of their wallet and into our hats. So that was amazing, and that kind of showed me that there were different things I could do. So I came back to the UK after that, and I did a 2-month contract again in leadership and development, and added to my savings. And then I chipped off for, it was 14 months in the end. I wasn't sure how long I was going to go to start with. First of all, I went and volunteered at an amazing place in Colorado, a camp for people with disabilities, where while they're there, they don't have a disability. So we get people horse riding and climbing rock walls and zip lining and just having the most amazing magical time. I went there for 5 weeks, went away and ended up going back because I loved it so much. From there, I then went and travelled from Alaska all the way down to Panama. And from Belize City to Panama City, we did it spending nothing on transport. So we did fail. We were going to walk it, but that didn't work out how we planned. And so we decided in the end to just stick to our transport budget, which was nothing. So we walked 1,000 miles and we hitchhiked another 2,500, which was absolutely amazing. Currently, after that, I went back to the camp in Colorado because I just couldn't not. And at the moment, I'm back at home. I'm working another contract, a 5-month one this time. So that will clear my debts that I came back with because my savings didn't last as long as I would have liked. And will also pay for the next adventures I've got coming up. So in January, I'm off to Norway as part of an all-female expedition to cross the Finnmark Plateau in the dead of winter. Not sure about that one today. And then it's back to the circus for the Fringe again for February and March, and then back for another 3-month contract I've lined up. So basically I'm kind of living contract to contract, and just doing as much as I can in between, volunteering, other jobs. I've done a bit of flipping burgers this summer at some of the festivals just to get me in for free. Volunteered at Yestival, to save some money getting in. So yeah, just trying to live it a little bit differently.
But yeah, and it is different. I love so many aspects of that, joining the circus and the volunteering work you've done, and then quite a different model that I think I haven't had so many times, at least on the blog, in terms of working some contracts and then going off on adventures. Going back to the beginning, I guess, was there a trigger or was it a gradual process? What was it that led you to make the change in the first place?
Well, I think I made a pretty massive change when I left my relationship, and I just got my head down and was just sort of rebuilding a life, really. And then I settled down and I got in a flat, and I kitted it all out again, and I made this little home, and then I was going away for lots of weekends, and then I went to Canada for a while, and just all the while it was just building in me that I just didn't want to sit still anymore. I'd sat still for long enough. Couple of things happened at work. My team got made redundant, which meant I left that business. I got some money coming in from somewhere, and it just sort of all seemed to be pointing in the right direction, that it was just time to go and see a bit more of the world, really.
And what have been the biggest changes or challenges, either at the beginning when you first made the decision or throughout that process the last few years?
sort of deciding where to go and what to do, because I still feel, you know, I'm coming back and I'm doing these contracts and I'm working hard, so I want the money I'm making there to go as far as I can and to see as much as I want to. Some of the big challenges are being able to sort of catch up with friends and family. I don't feel like I'm spending enough time with people, because when I am in the UK, I'm just trying to see everybody, but at the same time earn the money as I go along. I've been very lucky. My CV is strong and people contact me about work, so I'm really lucky. I'm not chasing work, which I think is very fortunate, and maybe a bit unusual for some other people. So probably the biggest one is just trying to juggle, you know, the adventures, friends and family, and work. It's probably the biggest thing.
Well, in terms of the work, that's great to hear, and congratulations for having sort of a good setup, because as you said, everyone doesn't. Yes, exactly. But it sounds like you've done that cleverly. You haven't completely turned your back on your expertise and your experience. You've kept that while also opening up, making space for the things you want to do.
And leadership's fascinating. So in all the different worlds I've gone into, you know, so I've been working with people within the circus as well as doing the spruiking. I've been working with my friends who run the circus and, you know, giving them some tips on how to get the best out of their people, you know, and stuff like that. And then I went into camp and did that voluntary work. And I was working with all the new counsellors there who were coming through and, you know, giving them leadership skills. So it really cross-pollinates and is very interesting. And when I go back to the corporate world, they love to hear stories of the circus and expeditions, and so it works out quite well, really. I can imagine, in both directions. And is there a challenge also in sort of saying no to work while you're away? Do you have to say, sorry, I'm at the circus, or, you know, I'm off on an adventure, can't take this managing the next contract, they keep wanting me to go permanent, and that just fills me with dread. So I've agreed 3 months, and then we're going to have to talk, because I've planned a bit of a European road trip I want to disappear on, so trying to negotiate all of these sort of things, and it does feel odd to turn work down. You know, there's that bit in us that's always, but someone's offering me work, and, you know, maybe I should just go and get another flat, but no.
And how clear are you, I guess, in terms of, you sort of have a monetary value, like I need to earn this much and then I'll go, or a time, I'm going to stay for 3 months and then I go? How do you sort of set the boundaries and decide when it's time to leave?
Well, I'm incredibly lucky that I have amazing family who always have a room for me where I contribute, but, you know, not the price of having your own place anymore. So I don't have to worry about that so much. For me, it's more about what I want to do and the time of year that it comes along. So I know next year I want to go back to the circus. The year after that, I want to get back to camp. So, you know, sort of blocking things around that. I think my ideal is eventually I get to the point where I go to the circus, then I go to camp, then I go and have an adventure, and then I come home for 3 months and earn some other money. So
I love that you're putting the fun, but like the important things in there, the family, but also the circus, and, you know, next year and even 2 years from now what you want to do.
Ideally, I mean, we've also got a plan of converting a van and disappearing in that, so who knows what's going to happen with that one.
And you mentioned your family there, and where else have you got support during this time?
I've just got the most amazing friends and family who have stopped rolling their eyes when I say I'm going to do something. And now one of my friends who I cancelled the other day and went, I forgot I've got a mud run on. And she just went, of course you have. We'll do it another day. So I live with my aunt and my uncle, and when I came up with the idea of walking across Central America, she just said, sounds great, go and do it, just be safe. I have my brother who totally supports what I do, but just wants me to do a bit more work for his business. So I'm really, really lucky that I have all of these people around me that just sort of say, go for it. I have other friends who live vicariously through me, so will be egging me on to go and do stuff. And then the more you do, I feel I've got friends all over the world now. So the more I go out and do and see and talk to people, the more people I've got that I can, I'd feel okay in Mexico, I'd feel okay in Canada, and, stuff like this. So that really helps.
And you mentioned eye rolling there. Was it a bigger challenge at the beginning that people said, what? What do you think? Why would you do that? Or aren't you thinking it?
At work, I got a lot of it at work. So on my last day, my colleagues had put up pictures of big tops and, circus, and people were going, well, where's Jo going? I said, well, she's going to join the circus. Well, no, really, where's she going? What's she going to do? Like, no, really, she's going to join the circus. And a lot of people are either split into two camps, really, that, wow, I would love to go and do that. And then what are you wasting your life doing that for? And quite frankly, I just ignore those. It's my life. I have no responsibilities. I have no children. So why can't I do what I want to do? I'm not bothering anybody.
No.
Yeah, I ignore the naysayers and just go and hang out with people that want to come and do crazy stuff or just want to hear stories.
Love that. And in terms of vicariously living through you, can you imagine if there was a point when you decide, actually, I don't want to do this, would you feel that might be a challenge as well, that people now expect you to be crazy? And what if you do want to settle down and, do some more normal things? I don't want to use that word, but...
Yeah, more typical things.
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about that. There's a few people that would be glad to see me home for a little bit longer so I can hang out more with them. And then maybe the naysayers would be a bit happier. But... no, I just think with my family and my friends, I'm really lucky, and we all just support each other in what we want to do. I'm very lucky like that, but maybe over the years I've shed those people that don't do that. I'm very much a believer in that. I want to bring something to people's lives, and I want them to bring something to my life. And if that's not positive, then let's maybe not waste each other's time.
Love it. And what's the best part of... Sorry?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I lost both my parents quite young. So for me, it's a lot more about, I don't feel I have a responsibility. I guess, I don't know. It sounds kind of weird.
No. Whatever works for you.
But yeah, so I do feel kind of free to go and do what I want. And I know that both of them would have really supported me because they were both a little bit crazy and very adventurous. So they'd be telling me to get out in the world. So I listened to their voices a bit.
Oh, lovely. And I was just going to ask, what's the best part of your lifestyle now? Out of all these amazing things you're doing, what's the thing you most enjoy?
I like the flexibility. I like the fact that I can, when people say, oh, do you fancy this? Or I see something on Facebook, I can just go, oh, actually, do the dates work? And that's really what I'm looking at, rather than when I used to sit there thinking, oh, I've got to pay the rent, I've got the bills coming in. Now it's kind of like, oh, well, I can just bring a few pennies in and then crack on and do that. So some stuff popped up over the weekend that I'm looking at for in June next year. So I think flexibility and just the amount of amazing people that I get to meet all around the world who just chat to this crazy English girl and make me feel really welcome. So yeah.
And I guess speaking to somebody who was like you, who was sick of sort of sitting still all day and wanted to join the circus or the equivalent, what advice might you give to them?
Just do it. You can sit there and work out the sums and work out what you owe and what you don't owe and what you've got to earn and what you don't, and it's all irrelevant. My mum always said to me that you can never afford what you want to do. When people talk about, I can't afford to have a child, she's like, well, when can you? Unless you win the lottery. Oh, I can't afford to do this. Well, when can you? And life is really, really short, and I would rather regret the things that I did do than the things that I didn't, and so far I'm not regretting them. So just go for it, give it a go. What's the worst that happens? You end up where you are, but at least you've had fun trying.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely that you end up where you are, actually, even if you I think most people don't regret joining the circus or whatever that equivalent is, even if they end up going back in a way to a job. So
And in a way that works, just putting on my work head for a moment, I often coach people around, go for your goals and work towards them. And if you discover on the way that's not what the actual goal is, then you've learned something and you've moved further forward a lot. We had that with deciding to walk Central America, and then at the end of one country going, this really isn't the adventure for us anymore. This goal isn't what drives us forward. We were going to miss out so much in Central America that we just changed the goal because at that point that was the right thing to do. So don't be set in what you think you should be doing and well, I've decided this is what I'm going to do, so it's got what I'm going to do. If it's not right, just go with your gut.
I love that. And I guess that possibly answers my final question there, in terms of, I agree with you that the how sort of solves itself and you'll find a way, and that doesn't matter. It's just about doing it. But what if people aren't sure? What if they don't have that dream to join the circus, or, plan to cross Central America, whatever it is? What advice might you give to someone who's sort of not quite sure what they do want to do?
Try lots of different things. You don't have to give up your job and go and join the circus. You can go and hang out with them for a day, go and try as much as you want. And if you don't like it, it's like Edison said, he'd found 1,000 ways to not like the light bulb. Every time you decide something isn't for you, you're learning. As long as you learn from it all and go, okay, well, I really thought I wanted to do topiary, but I don't know where that came from. But I've gone off and I've shaped a few bushes into mad shapes, and now I'm like, oh, I don't think that is for me. That's fine. Don't beat yourself up. I think we're conditioned that when we decide we don't want to do something, that, oh, well, we should just give up. Well, no, actually, that's a great thing to learn. Go and try something else, And adventures don't all have to be big. There's nothing better than just going and having a mini adventure, just going and sitting on a hill and watching sunset, whatever it takes. Just works for me.
Yeah, no, I think that's incredibly useful advice. And I think, dream big and have those great ideas, but as you said, don't be worried about changing them. Make sure that you experiment to see if it really is for you, and don't feel bad if you decide that particular goal wasn't for you. And as you say, you're learning. You're never going to regret it, I think, in my experience. And what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jo. I love everything you're doing. It sounds exciting.
Thank you.
How can we read more or follow any of these adventures that you're doing?
Okay, one of the things I am just going to try and shamelessly plug is I'm setting up an initiative called My Great Escape, which is to get survivors of domestic abuse out into the great outdoors for some healing, some adventure, a little bit of challenge chucked in. We're going to go off and we're going to climb some mountains and just really get away from everything. I've got a web page, my Facebook page, My Great Escape. We're very early stages at the moment, but if anyone wanted to go and follow us on there, we've put a kit list out at the moment, and we will be fundraising soon. And in the next few weeks, we're going to start recruiting our first expedition group, I really hope. Please come and join us at My Great Escape. And I'm on Facebook as jo.symo, or online as josymo.com. If you want to see what happens at the circus, or actually see if I survive minus 40 in Norway first, come and have a look and see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm definitely struggling with a sort of 8 degrees here in England at the moment, so the minus 40 doesn't sound so tempting to me.
It's not cold, it's not, it's fine.
There's no bad weather, there's just bad clothing, right? So just make sure you bring a very warm jacket.
So for Christmas, I'm asking for thermals for Norway and a new top hat for the circus.
I love that. That's a great wish list. And it sounds like a really worthy cause. That's a fantastic project that you've set up too. I think taking people out, whatever the people or the challenge, is so important into nature, and it sort of helps all of us, I think, centre ourselves and feel so much better. So no, that's a fantastic cause, and I'll definitely link to that. But thanks so much, Jo, for sharing your story. It's so exciting to hear what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing what other exciting things you come up with in the next months and years.
No worries. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Jo.
Cheers. Bye.